I was going fishing, and believe it or not, me and my brother, and this airplane came in over this field and over and landed in this field, and we had to run over and take a look at this nice airplane. It was a biplane, and the pilot climbed out and he says something like, "You want to take a ride?" "Oh, yes." He said, "Well, you have to go get me some gas." He says, "I've run out of gas." But lo and behold, we was going fishing. We didn't have no money for gas, but I thought, now that's super. And that's the way I got introduced in airplane.
The Granville Brothers, there were 5 of them, had a company that built racing airplanes. Now, they killed almost every man that raced in them. It has a welded steel tube fuselage covered with wood that you can see. And you can see all the wood parts. There's the wings, those are wood. We do have an original engine, we don't have to build one of those. You know, the oldest volunteer here is 97.
Wow.
Jimmy Doolittle, ever heard of him? He won a race in one of these things. And one day I met him upstairs when he came to visit the museum.
The construction of the wing is spruce spars that are glued together, fore and aft spars with ribs, mahogany ribs with cap strips, and over that is 1/16 inch mahogany plywood, and over that we have fabric with nitrate dope. Makes a very strong structure.
Unless they manufacture
The wing is built on plans that we acquired from the New England Air Museum, and they were acquired from the Granville family. The drawings that we have are not entirely complete, and we have to fill in the pieces of the puzzle. The original GBs, talking to this gentleman back in New Hampshire by the name of Dick Gilchrist, he tells me that the original GBs were built in 30 days. That's the R1 and R2, working around the clock. Mr. Gilchrist actually spoke to Pete Miller, who was one of the original engineers on the aircraft. A few of the things I found out about this particular airplane, this airplane was built to win that air race, and it was a way for the company to generate some funds, money. This being the Depression, the aircraft market was very poor. They thought they could probably win some prize money. The airplane itself is the smallest airframe around the best engine they had at the time, which was the Pratt & Whitney engine.
Showing the airplane over there. He builds those little airplanes out of prototype.
Let's go look at this other airplane. We can see the name of this airplane. It's a pea shooter. Now I'll show you why it was called a pea shooter. The pea shooter title see in front of the cockpit, there's this thing that sticks out. It's a gun sight. It's all metal. We got the plans from Boeing. They weren't very good after all these years, but our draftsmen improved them and worked with them until we got the right shape, metals, and etc. that goes in them. I understand they put another rivet in today. They built our own propeller. This will be used to make the cowling around the engine.
Thanks to Dan LeMay, I was starting down here, and we were neighbors and fellow farmers in Fallbrook at the time. And he said, "Why don't you come down and join us to work in the museum?" And I've always enjoyed working with my hands, so I said, "Fine." And this was roughly 3.5 years ago.
On the landing gear, what we did is we duplicated the wing structure of the airplane so that these guys can work on the landing gear separately and then just bolt it on. And as you can see, it's fixed landing gear with the wheels, actually tires hanging out in space. Well, this airplane had Goodyear Streamline tires on it, and the Goodyear Streamline tires came to a point, so they kind of let their way through the wind. And I called the Smithsonian, which has a tire refrigerator where they keep old tires, and they told me that there were none available. Period. There are no Goodyear Streamline tires. In 1935 or so, we started retracting wheels, and we went to balloon tires. So about 2 years ago, I was up in Los Angeles looking at a P-40. It had been in Hawaii on December 7th, and I was going through this pile of stuff. The airplane was really in pretty bad shape, and here were 2 Goodyear Streamline tires, wheels, and everything, and we have the only 2 in existence. And down here is the model that I made, the black one, and it's pretty close in shape.
Approximately 40 to 50 volunteers that are actively engaged in our projects here in Balboa Park. And there's some additional volunteers out at our facility at Gillespie Field. The volunteer program has been a part of the museum since its foundation in the 60s. Basically, they're here pretty much on their own time. They spend whatever hours they can give to the museum, and we're most appreciative for that. And their effort is what makes the museum what it is today.
The gentleman there used to run craft construction sites at Convair. He made all the parts for their airliners and, like doors and tails and all the parts that went into the major assembly.